Hello everyone, welcome back to another Doctor Who product review. In today's Doctor Who product review, we're taking a look at something a little bit different from a character options toy to probably the high end of sonic screwdriver replicas. This is the 14th Doctor's Rubbertoe replica. So the way this video is going to work, we're going to take a look at how the Sonic is presented, we're going to take a look at the Sonic, take a look at the detail, the features, and a little comparison to the character options toy as well, and my overall thoughts on this Sonic. So without further ado, let's take a look at the presentation. Presentation-wise for the sonic screwdriver, so the sonic screwdriver materialises in a metal tin with the Doctor Who logo, the 14th Doctor sonic screwdriver by Rubbertoe Replicas. Removing the lid, we're greeted with a piece of paper. I know, very fancy. And this is basically congratulating you on owning the sonic screwdriver, a little bit about the Sonic itself, about the sounds and lights and how to look after the Sonic, and if you have any problems with the Sonic, you know who to contact, so that's all very lovely. The next thing the Sonic has on top, we have an image of the 14th Doctor and TARDIS, one of the first images we saw of the 14th Doctor, but on the other side, it is the certificate of authenticity. The certificate is sort of mimicking the crackle design of the actual Sonic itself, so Doctor Who 14th Doctor Sonic Screwdriver by Rubbertoe Replicas. It is signed by the designer of the Sonic Screwdriver, and then we have my number of the Sonic, which is 66 out of 500, and it is signed by Nick Rubbertoe as well. So that is a really lovely little certificate, as certificates go. Once those items are removed, you're greeted with the Sonic Screwdriver. So we've got some lovely Gallifreyan etched foam, which is very fancy because it's Gallifreyan, so it makes it very fancy. So we've got the Sonic displayed there, we've got the Doctor Who logo there, and of course the stand for the Sonic. So let's take the Sonic out and take a look, shall we? The Sonic has been removed from its fancy Gallifreyan foam. So the Sonic is comprised of aluminium, brass, stainless steel, leather, clear 3D printed resin, tough/durable 3D printed resin, and printed water decals. So that is the elements that have made to create this Sonic. I imagine the resin parts and sort of 3D elements are sort of for the clear bit in the stand and maybe the central tube of the actual column of the actual sonic screwdriver. So let's take a look at the detail for this Sonic. Detail wise for the 14th Doctor sonic screwdriver, so this sonic screwdriver is full of Easter eggs for Doctor Who fans, because this is obviously the sonic screwdriver for the 60th anniversary, and what better way to look back at the show's past than to sort of do an amalgamation of all the previous screwdrivers that are featured in the show's history, making this one of the most intricate sonic screwdrivers ever in the show's history. I suppose we better start actually looking at the screwdriver itself. So if we take a look at the end cap of the screwdriver, so I believe that the screwdriver does have a little Easter egg where you can put sort of screwdriver attachments on the bottom of the screwdriver. You can on the toy, but I imagine you can do the same for the Rubbertoe replica, so that's a nice little Easter egg the designer put in there. So we've got this sort of brass section there with the little bits of stainless steel sort of poking out of there, sort of like a cog effect, a bit like the 12th Doctor title sequence, isn't it? But I think that this sort of section is sort of mirroring the laser screwdriver, which is all very lovely. Again, we've got this sort of patterned textured detail on the screwdriver there on the bottom half there, and the same on this sort of lower half section with the sort of spinning effect, so you can adjust that so like you're testing the readings. And then we have another sort of brass section there, and then we move down to sort of the grip, which is this leather, which is very much like the 11th Doctor's sonic screwdriver. We've got the stitching there, again really lovely, and then again nice bit of aluminium there. And then we move down, well move up I should say, into the activation section, which again has the water decals. This is very much sort of honouring the 9th and 10th Doctor's sonic screwdriver. That's been applied wonderfully, because I can imagine how fiddly they would be to apply. It's like trying to put stickers on Lego. But yeah, very cleanly applied there, much like how they were done on the actual show, so that's lovely. And then we have the activation button there with the Gallifreyan text, which I imagine that's a reference to the 13th Doctor's sonic screwdriver with the sort of Sheffield steel. And then we move up to sort of the cage section, so we've got the sort of stainless steel there, and then of course we can see the claws/petals and the cage section, which is sort of riffing off the lower half of the 12th Doctor sonic screwdriver and a Dalek gun. Now this section here I believe is to sort of honour the 3rd and 4th Doctor sonic screwdrivers, with sort of the section detail there. Then we have the emitter itself, which I guess looks very much like the second Doctor emitter, doesn't it? So to slide the sonic screwdriver, we just slide the button like so, and we can see some more of the detail features with this sonic screwdriver. So we've got the lovely little roundel motif there on the actual core of the Sonic, and then of course we have the actual sort of resin detail of the sort of mimicking the time rotor of the 14th Doctor and 15th Doctor's TARDIS there, which is lovely. It is a little bit of a shame that you can see the wire there, but obviously it's got to house it somewhere. But yeah, from a distance you're not going to notice it, but yeah, up close you can see that there. So yeah, that is all very lovely. That is the detail for this sonic screwdriver, and if we take a look at the petals there, you can see the little micro LEDs, which we'll take a look at now when we do the features for the sonic screwdriver itself. Let's talk features, so light and sound for this sonic screwdriver. So to activate the light and sound, we have of course the handy button. So by pressing the button like so, you can see that it lights up. So you can see the little roundels lit up there, and the actual column of the screwdriver and the emitter, and the petals, which don't light up on the toy. So that's really nice to see that that feature is there. So in terms of the sound, it only has the one sound, which if I just press like so, it's just the standard sort of sonic buzz. Now you can hear the little activation click when you press it, when you activate it, like so. It is a shame that there doesn't seem to be sort of the off click like the toy. So if I press the Sonic here, you can hear the little click off the sort of activation of the Sonic. This just has the activation and then it just sort of clicks off. Now, a little interesting fact with this Sonic. Now, this Sonic wasn't originally going to have sound effects because of how complex this Sonic is and how compact it is in terms of the actual design and trying to fit all the wiring for this Sonic, because like I say, this is one of the most intricate sonic screwdrivers in the show's history. Little Shop Props sort of collabed with Rubbertoe Replicas, and they created a mini soundboard to fit inside this Sonic, so it only has the one sound effects. Yeah, despite only having sort of the one sound effects, I think that it does the job. And you know, it might be a little bit quiet, but I think it makes up for it with the brightness of the lights there. You can see that it's a very bright sort of LED with the sort of micro LEDs in the petals. Yeah, it just looks really stunning when it's lit up, doesn't it? That's really cool. But yeah, it might be a little bit quiet, which I guess reflects the actual prop, because I don't want to ruin the magic here, but the actual prop doesn't go buzz. It just lights up. So yeah, it's nice that we do have the sound effects there if you want it to. So yeah, very neat little effect there, and that's it all lit up there for you. On to another thing this Sonic comes with, of course, a trusty stand, because you're going to need somewhere to place your Sonic on display. So we have this lovely stainless steel stand there, very much mimicking the bottom half of the sonic screwdriver, and you can imagine this being part of the TARDIS. We've got the blue resin there. It would be nice if the resin was a little bit darker, a bit more of a TARDIS blue. This seems quite a sort of a lightish blue there, so that's really nice. And on the bottom there you can see the Doctor Who logo has been etched there, the 14th Doctor sonic screwdriver Rubbertoe Replicas, my number there, and signed by Nick Rubbertoe. So if we just grab the Sonic literally just plugs in like so, so you can pretend it's recharging on the TARDIS there. So yeah, that is really neat. So that is a stand. So let's do a little comparison to the character options toy. Doing a quick comparison to the character options toy. So this is the limited edition online version. So the main thing you can notice is the decal section here, the sticker on character options. The crackling effect seems to be more yellowed, whereas this is more of a brighter sort of whitish grey. So if we bring the Sonics up close, you can see that the actual emitter on the character options is a bit more bulbous, whereas this is a bit more refined. And of course you can see that this has gone for the sort of clear plastic central column, whereas this has got a sort of a bluish hue to the actual central core there. But yeah, you can see that character options did a pretty good job sort of replicating the Sonic. Of course you can see the petals are a lot more claw-like, and of course have the little micro LEDs to light up those petals itself. And then of course you can see there the sort of differences. But yeah, you can see that character options did a very good job replicating this sonic screwdriver, and yeah, very nice. So well done, character. It feels a bit weird comparing it to the character options toy, but I just thought it'd be a little fun comparison just to see how they stack up next to each other. What are my concluding thoughts on the 14th Doctor's Sonic Screwdriver by Rubbertoe Replicas? Well, I think that this is a wonderful premium product. I think that the packaging, with it being in a tin, is a great sort of addition, because I know Rubbertoe Replicas have been sort of doing some of their Sonics in sort of tube packaging, which has sort of been not very sturdy, whereas I feel like the tin is a lot more collector friendly, so you know, you can display it in the tin and it'd be protected in the lovely Gallifreyan foam. But the Sonic itself is a really stunning piece, and I think having this replica, it really sort of highlights the intricacies of the design, and I think the craftsmanship that has gone in to make this Sonic Screwdriver is exceptional. I think that it is wonderful, and I think that it's become one of my favourite sort of pieces in the collection. It's become a sort of centre point for the collection, and it's a very special piece because it's the Sonic Screwdriver for the 60th anniversary. And like I say, that this Sonic just honours every aspect of previous Sonic Screwdriver designs, which is wonderful. So I think that it's a very nice sort of collector's piece. Now this is where the review gets a little bit hazy and a little bit blurry, because with a normal review you go, yeah, I recommend this product, or I don't recommend this product, or wait for this to go a bit cheaper. This is a Rubbertoe replica, and this is the sort of the premium end of Doctor Who merchandise you can go for, and this is the most expensive Doctor Who thing I have ever bought, and I don't think anything's gonna beat it unless I win the lottery and I, you know, get one of John Pertwee's actual velvet jackets, or Bessie. So it feels a little bit strange to go, yeah, I recommend this, because this has got a weighty price tag behind it, and I think that if you're a person who's into prop replicas, you've probably ordered this already, and I think that this is a real stunning piece. Don't get me wrong, I think that it is tremendous, and if you're a fan of the 14th Doctor Sonic Screwdriver and you haven't dabbled into prop replicas, then maybe this is a perfect jumping on point to get a screwdriver. You love your attachment to the character, it means something, so the price doesn't really matter in that sense, because you're getting a representation of something you love. And if you're a cosplayer and you want to up your cosplay game, you've got everything screen accurate, but the Sonic Screwdriver's not there, you've got the character options toy, then obviously you're going to want to try and track down the Rubbertoe replica, aren't you? The character options toy does a brilliant job. You could have seen in the side by side, the character options did a wonderful recreation of the Sonic Screwdriver. So it's more down the question of how you value the design. I think if you're a person wanting to get into prop replicas, then, you know, check out, you know, your favourite Sonic Screwdriver, get a decent replica of that, get the feel of these replicas, because this is my second Rubbertoe replica. My first was the 11th Doctor Sonic Screwdriver, which I adore. This being made by Nick Rubbertoe, who worked on the show, I think adds a lot of credibility to this Sonic Screwdriver, because I believe that this, at the current moment in time, is the only prop replica of this Sonic Screwdriver you can get, besides the character options toy. So if you want a high-end version of the 14th Doctor Sonic Screwdriver, so far this is your only option. And it being such an intricate design, yeah, I can see why the price tag is so high on this. But yeah, I think that it's a lovely piece, and I am very happy. If you do decide to purchase it, I don't think you'll be disappointed, because I think that it is such a glorious piece, and it really stands out in the collection, and it's a nice piece of Doctor Who history, as it were. So yeah, I love it. And I think that it's great, and it was definitely worth the wait for this Sonic Screwdriver. So there we go, that has been my review of the 14th Doctor's Sonic Screwdriver by Rubbertoe Replicas. Well done, character options, you did a very good representation of this Sonic, but the Rubbertoe replica is just on another playing field, as you would hope it to be with that price. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time for whatever that video will be. So please do like and subscribe for plenty more Doctor related content coming up in the near future. So thank you very much for watching, and Allons-y.